It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Lone Pint Brewery, and this is the Yellow Rose Smash IPA. Now, if you haven't heard of this brewery before, and if you haven't heard of this beer before, well, neither have I, because the lovely Lister, who once lived in the UK, moved to California in America, has come back to the UK on holiday, and he's brought back to the UK, for me, three beers. This being one of them. This is a beer from Texas, USA. It's from a small brewery just outside the main city. It's 6.8% ABV. It's 62 IBUs, that's international bittering units. I'll talk about that in a moment. It's in a 12 fluid ounce can. I love the look of it. Really nice kind of looking can. Brewed in Magnolia, Texas. I always get really excited by American craft beer. And that's because I've always wanted to. I've not ever been to America. I would love to go to America one day. I've never been. I can just imagine what it's like, you know, all the amazing burger bars and all the amazing craft beer bars, and it just looks at, you know, the big cars, and I just love the thought of the whole thing, you know. I gotta go. The sunshine, especially in California. I'd love to go one day. So I get super excited by American craft beer. Let's get it out into a glass. See what we get. But what a lovely gesture. Thank you very much, Lister. Really appreciate it. Here we go then. So it's been brewed with Pilsner malt. He's also wrote me a lovely letter as well, which is tremendous. So it's been brewed with Pilsner malt, Mosaic hops, and English ale yeast. So beer in the glass is a 1 to 2 finger white head. Good levels of carbonation rolling up the glass there. It's a... You can definitely see it's got Pilsner malt in it. It's got that sort of kind of yellowish hue to it. But this one's nice and hazy. So what I'm expecting when I get my nose into this beer then is just how clean Pilsner malt is when you get the aroma. It's really clean and crispy. And then you're going to get that Mosaic hop that's just going to punch over with the hops. So it's going to be... I reckon it's going to be really quite dry to taste, but super juicy and super kind of mosaic-y. Let's get the aroma on this beer then. Yeah. Definitely get the Pilsner malt. Dry, slightly crispy aroma. And then the Mosaic hops are just really juicy. For me, slight grapefruit, slight mango, slight orange peel. And you actually get a little bit of that English ale yeast. You get that slight fruity ester from the English ale yeast used in this beer. I can't stop smiling. Let's get in. Cheers, everyone. Oh. Yeah. Exactly what I was expecting. Pilsner malt seems to have that natural... The carbonation seems to be elevated. Whenever a brewer decides to use, and I know it's a process of extracting the sugars from the malt and the colour, but there's a certain element of Pilsner malt that I just love. It makes the beer so dry. Dry, but lovely and carbonated. Clinical, that's the word I'm using. Crispy and clinical, and super juicy. When the hops then are added on top, when you're getting that flavour of the hop, that mosaic hop, it really comes through really quite well. Ah, it's lovely. Really jammy. Marmalade on rye, so almost like a spicy rye coming through. Marmalade on rye. It's a bit like, you know, you remember your granny maybe making fresh jam on the stove, and you've got all those lovely kind of sweet aromas, and or maybe some brown bread you've toasted and you've got some marmalade and spread the marmalade on your toast, so you get all of that kind of biscuitiness and breadiness, and then you get in the orange from the marmalade in the beer, so the sweetness and that kind of slightly spiciness coming from the malt at the same time. It's a terrific beer, terrific beer. I can imagine the Texas sunshine, throwing loads of chicken on a smoker, you know, or brisket, and letting it smoke all day, and maybe the last 2 hours of the smoke, you invite people round and you sit around the smoker and you set up a little mini fridge, maybe a little, I tell you what I picked up, a cooler box that you plug in, a plug-in cooler box. I picked it up in Aldi, and this thing's blooming great, absolutely great, absolutely fantastic. Because you just I went camping on the weekend, I chucked all my beer in this cooler box, and it just stayed, it was electric hookup with the camping. So I had cold beer all weekend camping, even when the tent was like warm midday heat on the tent and it's slightly stuffy in there, more than slightly stuffy. You go there and you'd open up the cooler box and you get out a cold beer. But you can imagine, you know, doing that in a Texas kind of, like, you set up the smoker, as I was saying, you plug the cooler box in, and you got a cooler box in the middle, and you got a cooler box full of this Yellow Rose and Smash IPA, and you just, you know, sitting there whittling away the afternoon with the smoker on, enjoying food, enjoying people's company, and just enjoying a really good IPA like this. Yeah, it's terrific. I mean, look at it. Absolutely terrific. Looks great. Smells great. I mean, look at the conditioning as I rock the beer back and forth. The conditioning on that beer is amazing. Oh, I promised IBUs, didn't I? I promised to talk about IBUs really quickly before I give the rating. Actually, I'll give the rating first, and then whoever wants to hang around for the IBUs can hang around for the IBUs. So, rating for the beer then. Lovely aroma. A smashable IPA at 6.8% ABV. It's really clean and crisp and refreshing. I love that Pilsner malt. It makes such a difference with an IPA. It really does. I like that enough to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Very quickly then, IBUs, International Bittering Units. So your palate ranges from 0, that's tasting no bitterness at all, to 100, where you're tasting some really bitter beer over here. Your palate won't taste anything past 100. So you can have 1,000 IBU beer if you want, but your palate's only going to taste 100 of those IBUs. It's a bitterness scale. So with this being 62 IBUs, it's leaning towards kind of being towards the bitter end of IPA. And there's a lovely bitterness on this beer, if I haven't mentioned it already. Yeah, 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Thank you very much to Lister for sending. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.